All right, let's talk CFP here, Pierre. I'm very excited for this because this is something that we as college football fans have earned for a long time, of getting an actual playoff, one that's real, one that, is inclusive, that shows off what's going on. And the conditions are right parity-wise for this to be better than it would have been, because I think a lot of people thought it doesn't matter what 12 teams you put in, the teams, the cream's going to rise to the top. Yeah, sure. But football's about availability and injuries, and sports are about, look, we've been doing this job long enough to where we've sat in rooms gone, there's no way that Team A can beat Team B. And then Team B also believes that, and Team A beats them. I've seen it. You and I sat next to each other in Jacksonville, Florida, watching Baylor blow a 20-point lead in about 3 minutes to Georgia State.
Yeah.
And going no way, right? This is one of the things that's going to happen. There's not he would have to make 7 threes in a
I still will never forget that shot I will never forget that moment. It felt like it was happening in slow motion from RJ Hunter. I'll never forget that shot.
Yeah. And then you, me, and a couple other people went to the Jacksonville Hooters on the water.
We did.
And that place was sad. It was
yes. We were all like, oh, man, our trip is cut short. I wanted to stay in Jacksonville for another couple of days.
Yeah. And then we were just like, all right, well, I guess we got to get on a flight tomorrow and leave.
Like we do.
And leave. And, not even the brave women at the Jacksonville Hooters could buoy our spirits.
No, not at all. Poor ladies.
That just tells you how confused we were about what just happened. We're like, hey, where are we going to go eat tonight? And I think we literally asked somebody who was like, hey, what's close? It's walking distance from here. And he's like, there's a Hooters right down that way. Yeah. And we're like, all right.
I was truly in a state of disbelief after that.
Yeah.
Truly in a state of disbelief.
Because we had to sit there and make flights and change them rapidly and figure out where we were going. And you're like, oh, you on this one? Where do you can we, figure this out? How many tickets are left on this one? We got to leave tomorrow. He's on the 8 o'clock. We're on the 12:30. That kind of a thing it was just nuts. But CFP is here. We've long earned it. And we'll just go game by game. Friday night, Notre Dame and Indiana. It's going to be cold. It's going to be good old-fashioned Newt Rockne football weather there in South Bend. I think just atmosphere-wise, a Friday night in December football game in South Bend, Indiana. I don't even care what happens in this game. I'm just thrilled it's happening.
Yeah. I think out of the 4 games, really. The funny thing is when the initial college football playoff field was set, and earlier in the season, you and I talked about this earlier in the season. Indiana, fun team, great story. I've enjoyed the ride. Let's have some fun. And then I kind of felt like of all the teams that made it in the top 12, I did the thing that probably a lot of people did. I said, okay, which team maybe do I feel like is undeserving is a strong word. But which team do I feel like if they were left out, I wouldn't bat an eyelash about? And yet I keep coming back to Indiana, for some reason. The resume is the resume. I understand it. With them going up against Notre Dame, what a matchup this is going to be in the state of Indiana. You and I talked earlier before the season. I was on the hook for calling Notre Dame completely overrated. When they lost to Northern Illinois at home, it looked like the sky was falling for them, and they were going to be an afterthought, when it comes to the college football playoff. But they've rebounded nicely. I give them all the credit in the world for rebounding the way that they have. And yet, I even though I'm starting to look at Indiana and feel like I don't really think you should be here, I'm also looking at Notre Dame, and I'm thinking to myself, boy, a Friday night game in South Bend with Indiana coming to town, this is just a recipe for a potential disaster for the Irish. This game has all the makings of a wild one.
Yeah, I think so. I think Notre Dame probably ultimately wins because of that defense.
Yeah.
But you got two quarterbacks in Rourke and Leonard who have moxie, who are, who've been through it, man. They're veteran players. Like this is it for both of them, right? And so I think you're going to see a lot of that. And I really like reading a post that Riley Leonard made this week, and it was like just the passion which these two teams are attacking this should be a great game. I got Notre Dame in this one. I think it should be – I think it'll be close because Curt Cignetti's too good of a coach, and Notre Dame does not have the kind of offense to run away from Indiana. Yeah. But I think Notre Dame ultimately wins because they've got more experience, at least recently, in moments like this. Marcus Freeman, I mean, he's about like, to me, like I just keep feeling like he's about to pop and Notre Dame's about to pop if he figures it out there. Because again, they lost one game to Northern Illinois, and it was, everybody's going to have a fluke game, and everybody tried to write them off this year. Now, look, they didn't have the hardest schedule in their history. Yeah, I was there. Like, all right, well, what's the next one they're going to lose? And then they just didn't. And they pretty much handled everybody on the way out, more or less. So we'll see how they do, as the schedule gets tougher. But I just like what Marcus Freeman's done there at Notre Dame and how their defense just knocks you around.
For the record, I'm with you. I think Notre Dame will win the game. However, if you're looking at the line, if that line, which I don't think it'll get to 7.5, if it gets to 7.5 for Indiana, I'm starting to, I would consider that. I would. Not at 7, though.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, Clemson and Texas. I don't know how Clemson moves the ball on Texas's defense. I think the coaches are equal in skill. I think Sark's a little bit ahead of Dabo in the moment, but I don't think like if you went, coach for coach in the staff, it's probably about the same. They've got pretty good coaches all the way around. Texas again might be like, if we're talking about this, but talent-wise, Texas is better, especially on defense. And Clemson, to win games like this, they have to do what they did against SMU, which is jump out kind of surprisingly to a big lead. I don't think they can do – and look, they almost, if not for a miraculous kick return, they go to overtime against SMU, Right. So if not for that one thing that happened and then blowing that lead, they're not in this position, I don't think. And I think Texas should win this game, but I know Dabo in the postseason. And as a matter of fact, I was at that Cotton Bowl game when he beat Notre Dame. And he is at his best in these moments. So Sark and company are going to have their hands full.
I think when I'm looking at this game feels to me like it can be a game for a half. I feel like the first half it can be, like you said, if Clemson gets off to the races, in the first quarter and stays ahead of the sticks, with Texas, I think it could eventually turn into a full competitive game. I feel like Clemson, this could be an interesting score at the half. Like Clemson's like, oh, Clemson's in this game. But then I feel like you're right. I think Texas would have the ability in terms of talent, like you said, in terms of flipping the switch. I think that's where I think Texas has the advantage in terms of overall bully ball talent. I do like Texas in the game. The Horns seem to, at one point or another, you never know with them sometimes. I have trust issues with Texas, but I do think they win this game,
Yeah. The Happy Valley game is the other one I'm at least aesthetically looking forward to because I think it's supposed to snow, right?
I believe
for Penn State.
Not going to snow. It's going to be very cold.
It's going to be very cold there. Maybe it's Columbus where it might get a little snow. I can't remember, but
we're getting snow right now. I can tell you that. I'm looking at it right now.
Pierre, look, you're like that's not. Oh, in Minneapolis, it's snowing
in December.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Call Jim Cantori. Get him there right now.
I know. I love, especially on a sidebar, I love how we do this in the news business every winter and every summer. Oh, heat wave coming through like the Midwest. And snowstorm in December. I said, you mean for the 200th year in a row? Yeah. Like that's weird. Weird.
Hi, Tom. I'm here standing in Minneapolis on December 20th. And it is awash in snow.
Yeah.
I know that you're all shocked back at Weather Channel headquarters that this is happening because we as meteorologists have to be surprised by the weather.
Exactly.
Even though we're the ones who tell you it's going to happen and then have to be surprised when it does.
Correct. God, I can't think of a better summary.
and for that skill, we make twice as much, if not more, than the sports guy.
Yeah, that's I will neither confirm nor deny. Yeah.
Oh, listen, I'm the advocate. I'm the you know me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Look, he's not on the air anymore here anymore. I guess he retired. But the weatherman you had when you were here, I would routinely just send you long texts making fun of him to try to make you break on the air.
Again, neither confirm nor deny.
And it often didn't help that you guys were already laughing at him. So yeah, he seriously, he could be a character in an Anchorman movie. He really could. Absolutely. But Penn State, SMU, we're biased in this studio because we like Rhett Lashley a lot. He's on our show all the time. I sent him a text after they won, or not won, after they got in the playoff. And because I was happy that they were able to prove it on the field where it matters, and it wasn't speculative that they got in. Plus, Lashley's on our show all the time. So I sent him a text. He said, thanks a lot. Talk to you soon. And I was like, okay, well, not that I wasn't already rooting for you, but now I'm double rooting for you because you were nice enough to return the text. And so I already don't I think James Franklin he's a good coach. He's not a great coach, and he's not accomplished anything great yet. And he is in that club of Dabo Swinney and Ryan Day where they're still that old school, I'm the coach, I know everything kind of a thing. And it just, the vibe rubs me all wrong.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think I want SMU to win this game. I think it's going to be really tough for them because Penn State's defense is so good. And they have a lot of veteran players. But would it surprise me to see SMU go in there and beat Penn State in a big moment? No, because Penn State doesn't do well in big moments.
And to that point too, this does feel like a game where, and I agree, it's a big moment, but this feels like a typical Penn State game. Oh, okay, you beat the team that you're supposed to beat at home. You beat the team that's probably just a notch below you. You've been doing that, all throughout the James Franklin era in the Big Ten, but you can't hit Ohio State or Michigan when Michigan is good. You're not able to beat them. This is a game that just screams, okay, Penn State will probably win this game. And how am I supposed to feel about that? Am I supposed to be like, oh, watch out for Penn State the rest of the way? I'm just going to shrug my shoulders and be like, yeah, okay. They beat SMU at home, who they probably should have beat in the first place. But call me if they make it to the semifinals, or call me when they beat, like you said, someone in a big time moment. I'm not gonna buy it. If Penn State wins this game, I'm not gonna fall for this trap. I'm just not.
And look, they've got the best path because if they win this one, they get Boise State.
Right.
But look, I mean, am I confident that they're gonna stop Ashton Genty? No.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So if they do win this game, am I confident that this big defense isn't going to play really well and SMU's defense is going to play really well, but SMU wins in the end? I'm not going to say, nothing's going to surprise me. I'm leaning Penn State, just in my brain, but in my heart, I think SMU's got this here.
You think so? Yeah.
I don't know. And here's the thing. There's something about the way that, here's the difference. James Franklin, in this moment, has got way more to lose than Rhett Lashley. They're already playing with house money. And Rhett Lashley coaches a lot. Now, I know if you watched him on the sideline, you wouldn't think this, but he coaches a lot more free and easy than James Franklin does. It's, James Franklin's trying to, constantly conduct a symphony, right? And, he can hear, the strings are off, and he gets in his head. As where Rhett Lashley, dude, they're a jam band. They're just hey, man, you guys know Simple Man by Leonard Skinner? Yeah, let's do it. That's just how he is. And I think that works for what SMU is right now. And they've got a lot of talent. They went and got talent from places schools like Penn State and guys who were not getting the opportunity. They're there. They're guys who can play on that level, and we're playing on that level. They just weren't starting yet on that level and are at SMU contributing.
Yeah. I just took a peek at the forecast in Happy Valley. It looks like it's going to be. You might get some light snow Saturday morning, but it doesn't look like there's a strong chance of snow the rest of the way. But it's going to be cold. I think the high that day is only going to be 27. So it's going to be a cold one for both these teams.
And look, and when it comes down to that, the team full of guys who've been practicing and playing most of their time here in Texas, that's a disadvantage.
Yeah, it is.
We don't do well. We don't. But you never know, man. You just never know. You know, it's a disadvantage for both teams. Like, it's the same. Everybody's playing in the weather. Who can deal with it and cope with it? Like, that can be a big advantage. Pierre, I know you got to go, so let's talk about this last one. I am picking Tennessee to beat Ohio State.
Okay.
Because I think Ryan Day wants it to be over.
You do?
I think he wants it to be over. I think that no good deed goes unpunished with him.
Okay.
Because of the Michigan thing. And he would have to win the national title, something that that team is very well capable of doing, because Michigan's not playing in this. Now, Oregon is, and they already lost them, but by 1 point, and they're very capable of doing this, but they have a ton of injuries on the offensive line, new center, new tackles, like nothing has gone right for them as far as that goes, which means they're not as good at running the ball with two really good running backs in Henderson and Judkins. So I think Tennessee goes in and wins this game in Columbus, and then Ryan Day is the offensive coordinator of the Bears or something next year. I think, we talked to Matt Brown from Extra Points this week. He's an Ohio State grad, and he said it would not shock me if Ohio State and Ryan Day come to the mutual decision that he is ready for the NFL, and he's doing something like that.
Yeah, that would certainly be an interesting move up to the pros for him, no doubt about it. I don't know if I'm ready to go that far yet. I know you bring up a great point with the offensive line. I understand for sure. And that will absolutely wreck a team. People don't understand how much that really throws off your offense if your offensive line is just not set and not intact and you've got new guys coming in. But this is the hardest one for me. Ohio State, I feel like Ohio State should win this game, but I can't get the taste of their loss against Michigan out of my mouth. It was kind of like, okay, you go into Oregon, you lose by 1. There's no shame in that. I mean, they're the number 1 team in the country. You had a chance to win the game. It just didn't work out for you. I can live with that. At home against Michigan, given the way Michigan's team was all season long, and you lose that game at home, I looked at them and I was like, it's one of those, I guess if you had a child and he got arrested unexpectedly and you go pick him up from jail and you look at them and you're like, who even are you anymore? I don't know. I don't even know what to do with you. That's how I feel about Ohio State right now after that Michigan game. I feel exactly that same way. Who even are you to me? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, no. And so I'm picking Nico Amaliava, Josh Heupel, Dylan Sampson. I'm picking the Volunteers to go in there and put Ryan Day out of his misery.
That's a bold. Yeah, that's a bold pick, but I like it.
That's my pick. Ryan Day out of his misery. Now, Pierre, you have to leave early and go to a meeting. So we've decided that means we're going to end the show early because we can't start the show with you and then finish without you. Like, that's anticlimactic.
Well, I'm sorry for the viewers. I apologize for that. That will not happen again, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry that we're ending early.
But Merry Christmas, my friend. Happy New Year. We will see you after the holidays because we're gone for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You will not be able to find me unless you're in a distillery in Nashville, Tennessee.
Well,